Good evening, AOBE members, Brownsville ISD employees, and Brownsville, our beautiful community. This is Veronica Borrego, your AOBE president. Right next to me, I have Ms. Micaela Escobar, our vice president. Micaela.
Hi, everybody. Good evening.
And then right underneath me, I have Ms. Ida, our AOBE and TSTA staff. Ms. Ida.
Hello. I hope everyone's doing well today.
All right. So we are going to go ahead and start with a big picture. We are all anxiously still awaiting the results for the presidential elections. So, Ms. Ida, if you want to kind of elaborate a little bit on that.
Well, everybody is pretty much everywhere you turn on the TV, you go onto any social media, anything that you can absolutely log on to, everybody's talking about waiting for these last few states to finalize their numbers and to see if we're going to have a new president or not. So I think everyone is kind of on edge.
I'm actually, Ida, I'm gonna project a screen real quick so you guys can see.
Okay.
Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
This is where we are.
I believe it's just coming up. Oh, okay. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
So, I didn't know that. I hadn't seen that Biden's already up at 264. So, so we're just lacking those last six
electoral
votes there, and yes, and I think the one that they're waiting for to come up next would be Nevada.
Yeah, so and Nevada is at 84% reporting right now. 84%.
Oh wow, it's still at 84, and it is showing. Oh, that's a very close race there.
Mm-hmm.
That it's showing. That one's showing Trump leading on that one. How complete is that one? 89. Okay.
Very close here too.
All the ones that are still out, is it pretty much at 89% complete?
No, North Carolina is at 94% and Georgia's at 99%. So these two are closer to finishing. But Pennsylvania is 89%, and it's a very close race in Pennsylvania. As you can see right there.
It got a whole lot closer.
Yeah, it got really
because what I had seen in the morning, Trump had quite a bit of a lead there. So so I guess a lot of those mail-ins are getting counted and in favor of Biden. So, but I think bottom line is it's waiting for whoever's going to reach the 270 first. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if they're saying that it's going to be tonight, but I think somebody said it was not going to be confirmed until the morning for Nevada. Is that correct? Did y'all hear anything different on that?
They had actually said it was going to be 12:30 their time. At noon, but I don't think that didn't come through. But it has increased because it was at 75% for a long time, and so it's already at 84%, which means that they're already doing. I think what they were pending was the mail-ins, so the mail-in votes.
Wow, yeah. Uh-oh. So that'll be interesting. So we'll see how that comes out, and I know. It's pretty split. I mean, not exactly like right down the middle, but a lot of people were surprised to see the numbers in the Valley for Trump. Those numbers went up from the last election. So there were quite a bit of people that were shocked on that one. So, but as some of y'all know.
Let me just address a comment real quick from Xochitl. The map that I showed is from the Associated Press. It's The Associated Press is the one that has that map that I posted right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and I think some of the different media outlets are showing different numbers still, because they're not calling certain states yet. So obviously the one that you pulled up obviously called already Arizona probably. And so that's probably why it's because I'm seeing CNN. I've had it on that, and yeah, that one is still showing the 253. So probably depending on the amount or the percentage for Arizona, they probably already called it on some of the stations, but others are wanting to wait exactly till it's 100%. But others calculate depending on how many of the mail-in votes are still outstanding. They just they go ahead and call those states already if they know that that margin cannot be closed. So, but it's going to be interesting. I think everybody has been very stressful. There's a lot of feelings out there. It's been quite a bit of a roller coaster. I know we supported and endorsed Biden because, as you know, AOBE and TSTA and NEA goes strictly off of voting records. And they chose Biden because he is more pro public education. So with that, we got to look out for what is best for public education, because that's what directly impacts our members, the employees, the students of public education. So I know there's some people that are completely pro-Trump, and that is your right, and completely you're right on that. But like I said, we watch out for what is best for public education. So ladies, how do y'all feel about standing by and watching those numbers for president?
It's been nerve-wracking. It's very important that we take that win, because that is going to affect the funding that trickles down to public education. And so, I want to keep my job. I don't want funding to be cut where I'm going to have to be cut because there's not enough money to fund a public school. And while charter schools may be great for some people, I don't agree necessarily with how they are run. And I don't think that it's right that the employees just have to take what's dished out because there are no unions or associations allowed in charter schools. And every employee that is at a charter school is an at-will employee. So I value the position that I have. I appreciate that I have to go through due process, and I appreciate that I have the opportunity to have an association to back me if there is a need, but that will only happen with public schools being funded. And so I feel I'm a little bit nervous because it's taking so long, and I've been watching it like a hawk. I even had a picture that I brought up of a side-by-side from the 2016 to this year. Let me see if I can bring that up. And that picture I felt was very important because it shows the improvement from from Clinton to Biden. So let me see if I can pull that up so you can see the side by side. Let me know when you can see it.
Oh, okay.
So on the right-hand side right here, you see that's 2016. So you see all the red states and the blue. So you see here where he flipped, which states he flipped.
Wow.
When I took this picture, it was early. They had not called Michigan yet. They already called Michigan. The only one that we're pending for Biden is Nevada. But you compare them. From the left is 2020 and the right is 2016. So he was able to do quite a bit of change.
Yeah, it's it's been amazing. I mean, it's not easy. There's a lot of people out there worried on different things, and but like I said, we stand by Biden because I eat, breathe, sleep, eat everything, eat twice. Notice that. Public schools. So to me, public schools are very important, and Biden is in support of it a lot more than what obviously what we have seen what Trump and Betsy DeVos have been, and Betsy DeVos was because of Trump. So we got to hold him accountable for that decision. And that impacted public schools in a very negative way. So I stand behind that decision, and I am a Biden supporter, and that's what I'm hoping for the sake of public ed. But like I said, everybody's entitled to their decision and opinion on that, and they can feel Trump's a better fit for what they're concerned about. But my concern is public education and how many hits we've gotten, and we have to do something because it's only getting harder every year to continue to properly fund public education. So we're seeing the hits of this. We're still going to see the hits of what's going to happen with loss of enrollment and things like that. So, hopefully, let's see who comes out ahead. No matter who it is, we're going to put pressure on them at the local level, state level, and national level. And we are going to put pressure for better changes here in public education. We are entitled to that. We don't turn away any students like some charter schools do. And, we accept everyone. So we should not be penalized for that like we have been.
Well,
so,
we're not on a level playing field with the charter schools.
No.
We're not on the level playing field with the charter schools, which is very unfair. And so, with a Biden win, I hope we see a relief from that.
Yeah.
I would also like to add that there has been so much disrespect for education. I think that even though I never considered myself politically involved until now, but when I see that educators are being forced to go in and work as if they were the frontline medical providers, I just don't understand that part. I don't. I think the disrespect not only came from the top, but it trickled down to the extent of even community members. And I'm not saying that it's all. They feel that teachers have to go back and into a classroom without realizing that we were not, and I very proudly say I'm an educator. I'm not in a classroom. I'm in a department, but I'm proud to say that I am part of the education system. I just cannot believe how they expect for everyone to go back without the proper training. And Veronica, you said it a long time ago. You were not in the profession to do this. You're in the profession to teach, not to be in a hospital, not to be in front of a virus, in front of a pandemic. When you're in the medical profession, you train for that. You know how to conduct yourself in that environment. We don't have the PPE. We don't have the training. And that's scary. It's scary because if we look at history, the Spanish flu, what they called it back then, it was a pandemic. And the cities that respected the virus, they did okay. Those that didn't, you had a lot of death.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's scary.
That's what's very scary.
Mm-hmm.
Very scary.
When you threaten funding at schools because you don't return to the classroom, that's just wrong. Because you continue to educate the kids from home. So I just don't get it. And that's when, again, I started getting more involved. I've been involved, but not to this extent. And I think there's a lot of people who feel that way.
Yes. And I'm going to start bringing up some comments. Micaela, I saw you speak to the board yesterday. It moved me because you addressed some of the people who will be the new board members. I hope they do right by all you teachers and the retaliation. So,
I want to comment on that.
yes.
I think everybody knows who Sylvia Atkinson is and the effect that she has had with many people. I think a lot of people know the fear she instilled in many of us. And when I see the disrespect still yesterday, I had to do something. It was not planned, but I wanted the board members to know. I wanted the superintendent to know, and I wanted the new board members to know that they are held to a higher standard. They are to uphold the law and be ethically correct to us, regardless of whether we voted for them or not.
That's right.
They are responsible and they will be held accountable. And I want to thank you. I mean, I've received a lot of encouraging text messages and calls. I need to do it. I know some people are afraid, and I respect it. I was there a long time ago. Right now, honestly, and I don't mean to be disrespectful, but I don't care. I want people to hear my voice, because behind me, there's many people behind me. And even my family is behind me.
Yes, ma'am.
So thank you for your comment, and I appreciate that.
And you, not only Micaela, are your family behind you, and we're behind you as an association, and us as your sisters and your family, but you have a whole group of people behind you who still haven't found their voice yet.
Right.
And you are their voice. So it is hard to get up and speak sometimes because you don't know what's going to come from it, but you did amazing. It was very heartfelt. It was very sincere. And it's because you have lived it and you have been witnessing people living it that it was so sincere. So thank you so much for speaking like that, because I mean, it is hard. And you're the voice for people that haven't found their voice yet. So thank you so much for that. That brings us to our newly elected board members. So we want to congratulate Daniela Lopez Valdez. I'm trying to go in order.
Denise Garza.
Denise Garza. Jessica Gonzalez. Am I right? We're still pending one. There may be a recount. We're not sure yet. But Marisa was in the lead, Marisa Leal. So we're going to say her for now, but that's not a for sure. And then Mr. Eddie Garcia. So we want to congratulate those newly elected board members. We look forward to having very open communication with them. It is pretty much a new board because most are new, pending the one place with Marisa and Minerva. And so, they're pretty much new. So it's going to be a fresh look and a fresh new beginning, we hope. And we look forward to working with them. Just because our endorsed candidates did not win, the work doesn't stop, guys. The fight doesn't stop, guys. We don't stop. It doesn't matter. We still reach out to the newly elected board members. We still talk to them. We still express our concerns, the members' concerns. We still push. We still hold everybody accountable. We expect them to hold the superintendent accountable. We expect them to be looking into auditing the district where it needs to be audited. It doesn't stop. Nothing stops. Just because we did not win our endorsed candidates, nothing stops. That's how elections go, right? We win some and we lose some. So here locally, AOBE will not stop, no matter who is in office. We will continue to fight. We will continue to work. We will continue to be professional, We will continue to reach out to the board members, and we will continue to hold people accountable. And retaliation, because we have gotten those concerns, correct, Ms. Ida, about how people are worried who they supported and that they're going to be retaliated against because those people didn't win.
Yes, absolutely. We are not going to stand for that. We will be very vocal and upfront on that. It is your right to choose who you want to support, who you want to post about, who you want to go and hold a sign for. That is completely your choice. That's what makes the United States of America different, from other places. You have the ability to choose that. Even when even us having the endorsed candidates, the process that we went through for that, as a legitimate association, we held the forum, invited all candidates. Everyone had the opportunity to participate. Then on top of that, then it was sent out to membership to vote, and we respect the decision of the membership. So with that, moving forward, that is how the association started to work the campaign for the endorsed candidates. So now, just because that was out there and what came back, that's fine. It was different, but it doesn't stop us at all, because we still have a lot of members that we have to watch out for and protect. So it doesn't matter who is on the board, because even before the election, we were still reaching out to current board members, because that's our job, to try to bring the concerns and issues to them. And we're not going to hold back just because we're not friends. It's not about that. It's not about friendship. It's about holding them accountable to the position that they are currently holding, but they decided to run for, and what they got elected to do. It is our job
to serve. Yes.
It is our job to make sure that they hear the concerns and they have the opportunity to do something about it. Now, if they don't, then that's where we make it public on the things that they don't do. So we follow all chain of command throughout the process, just like we've done with the superintendent. We've given him the opportunity as well, which is what led to the vote of no confidence on him, because he was not responding to concerns, be it that he didn't like it, of how vocal we were, but we're not going to sugarcoat the issues that were going on at the campus and department level. No. So with all of that,
we don't have time. And this is not a situation for us to be sugarcoating anything in. This is a very dangerous time, and there's no time for playing around or for trying to make nice. We don't have time for that. We just don't have time for that. But
okay, I would like to share something with everybody. I haven't been very outspoken as to my situation, but I think that by sharing what I've lived so far, it will encourage others to be brave and to prepare. My husband ran for school board in 2018. Mm-hmm. After the election, and I'm going to just say in general, they were putting a lot of pressure, harassment, whatever we want to call it. I started documenting. And this is important for you all that are listening. You need to document date, time, what happened, who was a witness, anything that relates to that situation, and you continue to build, because it may happen. I'm not going to deny that, especially because we don't know how things will go from here forward. We pray for the best, but you also need to prepare for the worst.
Right.
So as time went by, I kept documenting. It got to the point that I did file, and I'm very grateful that I am part of the only association that is truly an association for employees we did file a political retaliation grievance. Everything is going as it happened. And I mentioned the last time I was drug tested without reasonable cause. I was reassigned to a position that was created called special assignment, and never had this been happened before. I was going to 4 different departments to help them with their finances: transportation, finance, food service, and facilities. And when I complained in a sense that I was fearful of getting COVID because I was being exposed to 4 different locations on a weekly basis, they moved me again. Again, I documenting, everything is there. Every time I reached out to the superintendent, I wrote down the date, the time, and what the message was. Everything is documented. And believe it or not, the grievance is still there. And I'm not going away. But what AOBE did was they contracted an attorney to represent me. And the attorney is not from here. And you know what we hear from the Valley, and I hate to say it, but sometimes you don't know where to go. My attorney's from Austin, and I'm not alone. So I'm giving you this advice. You're not alone. If you belong to AOBE, you're in good hands. But you also need to do your part. You need to document. You're not alone. I'm not saying that it's going to be easy. Just document. You need to get a hold of me. Call AOBE, or let me give you my phone number. And I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm there because I don't call myself. I'm so sorry. Oh my goodness, I don't even know what my number is. 956-639-5846. That is my number. Text me before you call me because I don't recognize the number. I probably won't do it. But please, you're not alone. We are in association where we're brothers and sisters in solidarity. We stand up for what is right. It's not easy, but you're not alone. So I offer you my friendship. I offer you to be there with you if you need me. I don't have all the answers. That's why we have Ida. but it's going to be good. I am very happy to say that 2 of the new board members were very nice last night. I think they were kind of freaked out because no one was expecting what I was going to say. And I'll be honest with you, I wasn't even expecting to say that as well. But for me, it's a beginning of my healing process. And I hate to say it this way, but I've been hurt a lot. And I'm not trying to play the victim here. But I needed to say that justice was served. And I did attend the trial for a day and a half. I took my personal days to attend there. And I heard those audios. And I saw the videos. And I was, and I don't know how to say it, I was just disgusted that our kids were cheated out of that money. That our kids are the ones that suffered. That our employees didn't receive their respect. And that's why I said this is the beginning of more to come. So again, if you ever need me, I'm here. I'll be honest with you, I do turn off my phone around 10 o'clock. But text me and I will try to respond. And of course, you can always go through AOB.
And just remember, Micaela's at work, so yes. It's very difficult. Micaela and I are at work, so it's very difficult sometimes for us to answer the phone or anything like that, because if we're not on our lunch or whatever, we can't really be on our phones. So just leave a message, leave a text, send a text message, leave a message with the office, and one of us will get back to you. It's a lot of calls for Ida to catch up with in one day. So when we get out of work, we start helping catch up on calls and emails and messages and different things. But, you know, we're here for you, whatever you guys need. I'm hopeful that this fresh new board will come in ready to make the changes that we need and to have accountability and safety at the forefront. And we're going to hold them accountable as well, and remind them of what it is they were running for, why they were running.
I also want to take the opportunity to thank Laura Perez for always taking my call. As board members, AOB board members, we reach out to BISD board members, and I was assigned to call her, and she was always very nice, open-minded, always willing to listen to our members' concerns. I also called Mr. Cowan, and he too listened to our concerns, open-minded as well. So I want to thank them both for always taking my call, and it was always on behalf of our members. So I wish them the best now that they're moving on to other plans. So thank them both for always listening to us. And I know, Vero, you were assigned to several as well.
Yes, I was. My board members were Miss Tipton.
I was gonna say don't say who yours were, because then it's gonna narrow it to the ones I was talking to, and not all board members are as receptive as others.
No.
I don't want to bash that out there, but we do try to give everybody that opportunity. We do call them, and like we've mentioned, we don't sugarcoat things. And there are some board members who just do not like that, and it's not right for them to be taking it personal on the issues that we're bringing up to them. We're calling you because there's an issue that's going on, and we need you to take action. We need you because we followed the proper protocol and it's getting nowhere, or it's very urgent and we need them to step in. And some of the board members just did not like that we were letting them know that not everything was perfect in BISD. And so with that, some of them were not as receptive as others. Some of them would not call back like others did. And some were great. But with that, though, that's why I didn't want to get into the specific, because I had great conversations with some of them, but not so great and heated conversations with others. And that is okay with me. I won't lose any sleep over that, because, again, it goes back to we're here to voice the concerns that our members are bringing up. And some of these concerns are very valid and urgent and need immediate action. So
I'm gonna bring up some of the comments, and then I want to go into what you're talking about, Ida, about the members' concerns and what we have done as an association to help address that. So let me bring up some of the comments. Please stop them from returning us to campus. Yesterday, there were over 100,000 new cases.
That is true. On that about stopping them, about returning to campus, guys, don't think that we've given up on that. Okay, we're still going to ask for that. We have asked from the very beginning to let the volunteers come back to campus or the workplace first. We have asked that because only the employees know their personal reasons for not being able to return to the workplace. And be it that they have health conditions or family members have health conditions. But there is plenty that are willing to and able to return to the workplace. So we're going to continue to ask that of administration. And hopefully that is something that they're going to consider. And we're going to take that to the new school board members as well.
Yes. Biden is going to win, but Trump will definitely fight this. He will not accept defeat. But Biden is in support of keeping everyone safe, so that is who should win in this election. So I want to kind of comment on this. We did receive information from our state affiliate from TSTA, and they did say specifically that educators came out.
Oh, yes.
With a vengeance to vote because of the disrespect nationwide. And so Biden will probably take it, and it is going to be because educators got up and got out and voted.
That
So
was amazing. I do have to say, I have here that statewide in Texas, the vote, they believe they didn't have election day, but they did have up to early voting. So it was 66% statewide, but educators with TSTA was at 91%, and we were at AOBE was amazing. We were at 98% of our members went to vote. That is amazing. So for all those people that say that educators do not go out to vote, well, we proved that wrong. So so that was very, very good to know.
I was really hoping that Erasmo, Frankie, Carlos, and Coach Joe would win because they wanted to keep everyone safe. What are your thoughts on these next new board members?
I will. I'll touch on that one if you want. Yes, going back to the endorsed candidates, we stood behind our endorsed candidates, unlike no other association did. We worked hard for them because our membership chose them, endorsed them, voted for them. It wasn't something that the three of us decided we thought was going to be a good fit. No, it was what our membership decided that they wanted. And so having worked the campaign, we had plenty of opportunities to talk to them through the different shows that we had, appearing on their show as well. So we got to see where their intentions were and what was their priority. And they voiced it several times, and we made it very clear that we were going to hold them to it once if they got elected. And safety was at the top of that list, and respect with no more retaliation was up there as well. And we know that that's a big concern for all of us. So, but that's not what came out in the numbers. And we have to respect that, just like the nation has to respect whatever comes out of this election. We can't sit back and make a riot or protest it, when it was, unless there's proof that there was something done wrong. But we have to go with the decisions of the community in Brownsville, and this is what they chose. And we are going to expect the same out of this newly elected board members, because that's what's coming from our membership. This isn't, now if our membership starts to tell us, the majority start to tell us like, okay, well, we're okay, we feel safe now and this and that, which would be our goal. But until then, we are going to continue to voice what the majority of our membership voices to us. And that's why it's important to take time to fill out those surveys and let us know the issues that are going on. And because that's the only way we're going to be able to address that. So like I said, I hope I answered that question. We believed in the endorsed candidates, but this is what came out of this election, and we plan to hold them accountable just as we would hold anybody else accountable, because it's important issues that we're looking at. So that is what we plan to do with the newly elected board members.
Yes, and we're hopeful that they will be receptive and be willing to work with us and as an association, because ultimately it's for the betterment of the whole district. So, we hope that they take their elected position seriously, and that they know that they're here to serve the community, not just one or two individuals.
Vero, I don't know why not all the comments appear on the, I don't know if it's because this is through YouTube, but there's some that are missing, that are appearing on the Facebook page. So
okay, let me bring these up here on the chat, and then which we can bring up, if you can bring up the ones that are missing on yours, like okay. Just saying.
Okay.
You ladies are my heroes. Thank you all for standing up to the superintendent and the board. They are killing us with work because they don't want to pay for enough employees to handle the work. They are taking advantage big time.
Me too. You are completely right on that. And if we can just talk really quick on that, at yesterday's board meeting, one of the things that I spoke on was these additional duties that are now going to be given to the nurses. They are now going to be in charge of doing this 15-minute rapid test. And again, no clear communication with the employees that are going to be directly impacted by this, because not all the nurses were aware of what does this mean for me and in my job. So a few did share their concerns with me, and I voiced it at the board meeting. And it's unreal that they're bringing this, something is completely new, that they're bringing in and putting it on top of all the other duties that these nurses have. And now they're also going to be at higher risk. And we all know how the proper PPE has not been available to them. And I also asked about hazard pay. What is going to be done about this? And of course, there's no answers right now, but doesn't mean that I'm not going to continue to follow up on that. But I know everybody feels like that, so overwhelmed, and we don't blame you. We know that everybody is overwhelmed, and we're just going to continue to push on this. They've got to take some things off of people's plates. This thing of, for example, that additional hours that everybody's doing through reading readiness. Is that what it is?
It's a reading academy.
Reading academy. On top of everything else, they push that there. They push up the due date for that. When you have up to 2 years to complete it, they want it to be completed now. It's things like that we need to hear from you guys, so we can voice it at the administrative level to them, and we can start to organize around that and bring these issues and let them know how it's impacting so many of our employees, of our members, and things like that. We can't give up on this. We cannot give up on all the workload and the frustration that we're feeling right now. We have to address it.
Yep. What do you all suggest the community can do to help teachers? Would it help if people came forward to address this board? Can anyone address this board? So Snoopy, yes, anybody can speak at a board meeting. Parents, students, teachers, staff,
family members,
the city officials, anybody. It doesn't matter who you are. As long as you sign up for public audience, you will be afforded 3 minutes to speak and address whatever it is that you need to be addressing. They are trying to enforce that it be something that's involved or a topic that's on the agenda. I think we're going to try to see if we can work on that. But for now, they want it to be what is on the agenda, and the agendas are posted on the BISD website. But yes, most definitely, because, it's probably going to be easier for a family member to speak for an employee who's afraid, because they are not going to be afraid to lose their job, which is what most of our employees are afraid of. They're afraid of speaking up, being retaliated against, and losing their positions. So yes, anybody can speak at a board meeting.
Anybody, and we were.
Go ahead.
We were able to help Jimena. She's a high school senior at Hannah, and we were able to help her to get her connected to be able to speak virtually. She did an amazing job speaking about the schedule, the school schedule of the student, and how it's overwhelming the students and what they're facing. I thought she did an amazing job on that. But yes, we encourage so many people to please come forward and voice your concerns. And that is something that I also did mention. we have to encourage. I mentioned that to the board members at the meeting yesterday. We got to encourage the students and the employees to speak. So we're glad to do it for you, but the more, the better. And the thing about the topic having to be on the agenda, that was something that Mr. Cowan was throwing at me when I was speaking. So we don't know now that Mr. Cowan is no longer going to be there if that's something that they're going to enforce, or maybe it's not going to be an issue anymore. But it's easy.
I want to add on that. Okay, so when I went to the board meeting yesterday, and I heard the person, the board secretary, read that it must be related to the agenda. There is ways to tie what we do to the agenda because we're educators. So when they mentioned that, at that moment I said, okay, what can I say to address what happened that afternoon? And I recall that they mentioned that they go to training. That's how I was tied it in. So if you're interested, look at the agenda. The agenda is all about education. And if you need help, text me. I will not answer my phone during working hours. But if you have a concern and you tell me, this is what my concern is, I will talk to you on the phone and tell you, okay, let's look at the agenda together and we can find out where it ties in. So don't be discouraged if you think, well, it doesn't relate to the agenda. Yes, it will. Remember, we're educators. Everything ties in. We just have to figure out how to tie it in. So, again, I'm here to serve in whatever you need.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lizette.
Yes, thank you. There's so many beautiful comments here, thanking us for speaking.
On that about Mr. Garcia being in the hospital, we are not sure on that. We have heard, but we don't have confirmation about that. Document, email it to yourself. Exactly, Juan. That is perfect right there, because you always have to leave that paper trail. Yes. Especially, we've seen it once the pressure gets put on people. People wash their hands really quick. We've seen that several times. It's been seen on this current trial as well. But that's why paper trails are very important.
And it's not only an email. Yeah, it's really important, the paper trail, but it's time stamped.
Right.
So there's no denying the date that it was the incident occurred.
And what I recommend is, sometimes if you don't feel comfortable responding to your superior, you can email yourself. But if you do, you can say, as per your directive, as per your instructions, as per our conversation, and state exactly what was said. And believe me, when people realize that you are standing up for yourself and that you're documenting, most of the time they back off. If they realize that your rights, your employee rights, at that point they tend to back off. Absolutely. And when they cross that line. And again, I'm not trying to play victim. I'm using me as an example. When I was drug tested, I knew it was wrong. I Googled. And I put, okay, school district employees drug tested. And right away, there was a case course ruling saying that school employees should not be drug tested unless there's reasonable cause. So when I emailed the superintendent at the time that I knew they violated my rights, guess what happened? She didn't respond because she knew I was right. So I'm hoping that you get empowered by our advice and that you learn your rights, because once they know that they don't cross that line. It's like with the duty-free lunch. You deserve that. That is your right. So if they tell you, no, you're not having lunch because you have to sit with the kids to make sure that they're eating their lunch and they're, staying in their seats, they're violating your right. You need to say, you know what, I'm sorry, but I have a duty-free lunch. Can someone else cover the class to watch over the kids? And if it continues, then we step in. We, as saying AOBE, we step in. But you need to say, you know what? I know my rights. I know what I need to do.
And you can even contact us, and we can provide you the policies or the codes, the Texas codes, that you can then put in your email that you're going to send as per Texas Education Code, blah, blah, blah. These are my rights.
Exactly.
As per BISD policy, blah, blah, blah. These are my rights. That's what we're here for, guys.
I do want to clarify where Micaela said, well, guess what? They didn't respond. And that's fine. You have to expect that. They're not going to respond to every email. But you have now the documentation that you sent the certain thing on that topic. And that's what makes it, that's what's going to help you, because that's what helped Micaela in her situation. Her documentation is on point. Oh my goodness, and so it helps in the long run, because like I said, people will completely deny what they might have said the day before. So even the minute before, when that's why one-on-one conversations are not very good when you're addressing an issue or a concern. And I cannot say how many times people have, for example, during this pandemic, asking for certain PPE or electronic devices. The response from when they sent an email compared to them having that conversation over the phone or things like that was completely different. It's all about documentation, guys. We can't stress it enough.
Adriana, good evening, ladies. With this new board, will there be an audit? We're hoping that after this trial and what happened there, that the board coming in, that will be one of their top priorities, because it's not fair. In one of the other in another show, there was comments about how many fundraisers we have to do at the schools to be able to have field trips for our kids, to be able to get them Christmas gifts, to be able to whatever it is that we're trying to do, when it really should be funded, but we don't know where the money is going. So we're hoping that this new board will take into consideration the verdict and will look into the finances of the district with a very fine-tooth comb.
Now, as taxpayers, we also have the right to ask questions.
Yes.
We have the right to say, I want to know how the money's being spent. You have the right to do a public information request and say, I am interested in this project or this whatever it is. You have that right, because we are in a public entity. They may give you the runarounds and send it to the Attorney General, but at least you requested that information. You have that right as well.
When are scheduled to go back to school? As of right now, the waivers are only up until the 30th. We do not know. I'll be very honest on that. We're seeing a very big surge across the country, and we do not know if TEA is going to have a change of heart and allow another waiver. We don't know how the election is going to turn out for the president. So that can also have quite a bit of an impact. So as of right now, it will be November the 30th. But we're hoping that, we're hoping that this pandemic gets under control, but we're not seeing it, because unfortunately, not everybody is doing everything possible to reduce all possible or unnecessary risk exposure. And I'll start right from the top with Dr. Gutierrez.
Call them out, Ida.
Call them.
Yes, 98%. It's amazing, because we were at an all-time record high for AOBE members voting. So thank you guys. We made a really big impression at state and national level, and that's because of our members. So thank you guys. November 30th, teachers are to return for face-to-face. Kinder rooms on my campus don't have restrooms or sinks. This was a concern before COVID and now even more. And I think that that has been addressed. I know that we've spoken to you already, and I know you met with Miss Ida at one of our drive-through voter registration drives. So yes, we will bring that up to the new board members, and we'll see what they do with that. The endorsements were done by educating us on the candidates. Thank you. So I want to make a little bit of a comment on this. As the president of an association, as the president of the only legitimate association in Brownsville, Texas, it is not my decision to pick who is available for you to put on a ballot for the members to choose. It is my place only to facilitate and make sure that equal opportunity is provided to every single candidate who is able to register as a candidate. That is my responsibility. And it is also my responsibility to uphold the members' wishes and to support the candidates they choose to support. I cannot say that that is what was done with other associations, but with this association, we take those things very seriously. And so, we made sure that everybody had equal opportunity. We made sure that we were very transparent, and we had our forum online so that everybody, even the community, could hear their stance and what it is that they were running on. And then we sent out the ballots to our members, and they chose who they wanted to endorse. So yes, it was very important to us that the endorsements were very fair, and that everybody was given an opportunity to make an educated decision as to who they wanted to endorse. So thank you, Ms. Virginia Ramirez, for your comment. We do take those things very seriously, and I mean, we didn't get the wins for our candidates, but we did it the way it was supposed to be done.
But it was a good learning experience.
It was a very good learning experience, and it was fun. I'm not going to say that it wasn't fun. Yeah, it was kind of tough, that our candidates, because they were very passionate about what it was that they were running for. But it was fun. We got to meet, and I'm going to tell you, on the days that we went to the camp, there was a lot of camaraderie with a lot of the people running, even the ones that were running together against each other, like Marisa and Coach Rod. They were bringing each other food, giving each other rides. I mean, there's no reason to get ugly. You know what I mean? So they got along really well. It was nice to see that, that what was important to them was the district.
Right.
They were running for the right reasons.
Yeah.
So
the respect and professionalism was amazing.
It was awesome. Yeah. Yeah. What about teachers that have 30 students? Huh?
Okay.
Shouldn't
For
have
that,
30 students. You need
is
to.
that what should happen? What I would recommend is that we look at the CDC and what they're recommending. And then again, you document and you say, based on the CDC guidelines, this is what they're recommending. My room is approximately so many feet, and I can't have so many kids there. We have to be smart and use what's out there in order to advocate for ourselves and say, and give the dimensions of your room. And I'm not sure how big the rooms are, but say, based on my square footage, these are how many chairs I am allowed to have to keep the distance of 6 feet or whatever it is right now. So I cannot have 30 students there. And again, that's how you learn to advocate for yourself.
Right.
And you put it in writing, you document.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Adriana, let us know, direct message us on Facebook or call the office, and so we can guide you through that process. We don't want you to
we need a little bit more information about the 30 students and
and where that's happening.
What your grade level is, your campus, different things like that. A very tiny group of people will be the BISD first responders. Like they will be able to handle the huge district if there were several outbreaks. And there will be outbreaks, me too, because we're going to be getting to Thanksgiving and people will be spending time with their families and people are coming in from out of town. And so.
Yeah, and according to Dr. Cantu, she was the one who presented on that. It's going to be 6 nurses that were selected to get this training, apparently. But the other nurses that I spoke to were not aware of which 6 nurses these were. And but 6 nurses are not going to be enough. And my question is, for these 6 nurses, are they going to be getting paid mileage? Because apparently they're going to be going from campus to campus to test. So there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of questions on that.
Yes, there is. Now that we are asked to call parents to find out if they will be sending their kids to school, can we ask that each student gets tested for COVID before they come to school? I know some certified employees are being given that privilege.
We cannot force anyone to be tested.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. Jimena is inspiring. Yes, she sure is. She's amazing. And we're going to do whatever we can to help nurture that in her because 1, she is a female. 2, she has so much potential. So whatever AOBE can do to help her, we will.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Miss Virginia.
Thank you.
Can you post our employee rights so you ladies can educate us in future shows, documentations, examples? Actually, you know what, Miss Me Too? We are going to be trying to do virtual trainings with our members. And so it may be by department, it may be by campus. We're not sure yet, but we're going to be working on that. And employee rights will be one of the things that we educate. That is one of the things we have been educating our members on, and we will continue to educate. But right now, since it's got to be, since we're trying to minimize exposure, it'll probably be through a virtual training, but we are looking into that. And the only reason is because we want to save those kinds of things. Yes, we give a lot of information out, but you know, our members are they're the priority, right? Because they're our paying members. And so we're going to be providing very detailed trainings to our members. So be looking out for that. Me too. Since my son's school has no extended day and I get out 2 hours later, can I qualify for FMLA?
For that portion, yes, it depends on exactly why it is that you have to stay the 2 hours extra. Is it because you're having to stay after school, or they just get out earlier? Contact Monica at HR and explain your situation, because that could definitely get you to qualify just for that time. Of course, you don't qualify for the entire time. So let me know if you have any issues or what's the response on that.
Yes.
Who do I call about? That would be Monica de la Garza at HR.
Yes. Good evening, ladies. Where can I find the agenda? Miss Lucy, I am going to show you right now. I'm going to share my screen so that you can see and so everybody can see exactly where to find. Let me know, Miss Ida, when BISD is up.
It's up.
All right. So this is your BISD main web page, right? Right over here, you see where it says board agendas. So you're going to click on that and it's going to bring up your list. All right. And then right here, you click on agenda and it'll bring up your agenda. And within the agenda, it'll bring up all the documents for whatever it is that they're voting on or different things that they're calling, minutes, whatever it is that they're discussing. And that's where you find your agenda.
Vero, do you want to add this phone number? Monica de la Garza, her office number is 698-1244.
Hold on.
Do you have the email address also as well? Because that sometimes works a little bit better.
Her email is, let me see if I can find it.
What was the number again? 69.
698 1244.
1244. Okay.
And then her email address is mydelagarza@bisd.us.
Oh, all right.
Thank you.
How do you think the new board will act towards teachers and all BISD employees? Well, we're hopeful. We're hopeful.
They need to be very professional on that. I think, especially seeing what can happen eventually to board members who step out of line with this trial. We're hoping that it sends a clear message of their roles and responsibilities, and that there is not going to be any retaliation. And
Right.
if there is, we are ready to bring that out and make that known.
Yep, we all need to use the policies to our advantage because up above, school board super is always looking for a way to get free work out of you. Amen.
Absolutely.
Yes. Gutierrez won't ask for another waiver. He's stubborn and adamant to get us back. Great job,
I
lady.
agree.
Thank you.
He's kind of made it known already that that's what he wants. So we'll see.
Yep, you know us electives have over 30, but what they recommend goes out the window because they say 6 feet apart if you can. But did the board state that they were not going to follow CDC guidelines? So what the board is saying is that they're going to follow TEA recommendations. But then they say that it's only a recommendation. Like Mr. Castro said, if you can, because it's just a recommendation.
So David, do you have the square footage to be able to put them 6 feet apart? So how do they expect you to do that? If you can respond to that.
Now, I'm going to ask a question to Ida. TA is state. CDC is federal. So what should it be? Then federals
Supersede.
Right, supersede?
Well, it all depends on the wording, because a lot of it is what TEA does, and even CDC. When it says recommended, they're just recommended. So district doesn't have to follow that. So they can just go based on the recommendations. But what is upsetting is that you would think that BISD would want to do a little bit better than what is recommended for the safety of the employees and the students. You would want them to do a little bit better. If they're recommending 3 feet, no, I'm going to stick to the 6 feet, so on and so forth. If they're saying that, there's no class size limit as it was originally put, I would say, hey, no, I'm going to stick to the 11, things like that. That's where it gets upsetting that the district has not, done their part to go above and beyond.
No.
So,
but at that point, as an employee, we can also document and say, I don't feel safe. CDC guidelines recommend this. Right now, I'm looking at whatever requirements they're giving to you. And again, put it in writing. It's important to document.
Everything in writing.
Yeah, it's very important to do that.
Thank you, Ms. Murillo.
Thank you.
2:50, and I get out until 4:30 or later when there's meetings. Yeah. So call Monica.
Yes, let us know.
I would love to attend the training session. We'll get the information out to our members, Ms. Ortega.
That training is going to be called Know Your Rights. So just so you can be on the lookout for it. And like Vero said, we've done it in the past, and we've the hot topics usually were the duty-free lunch, your conference planning period, and things like that. So of course this one's going to be probably tailored more to safety issues and things like that. So but yeah, we are going to work on that and get that out hopefully soon.
Hopefully, yeah. Good evening, ladies. As always, you are doing a good job. What can be done to push for another waiver?
Phone calls to this new school board coming in. We
Email.
completely recommend that. Emails and phone calls. Let them know we still do not feel safe. We are not ready to return. So
But I would go one step further. Not only say that you don't feel safe, but explain why. Why don't you feel safe? Because if I say I don't feel safe, they're going to say, well, everybody doesn't feel safe. Explain
yeah,
why you don't feel safe. Because they're not keeping the 6 feet distancing. Because we don't have proper PPE. Because they're not disinfecting. Because the custodians have not been trained. Give specifics. The more information you give, the better off
Yes.
you will be. And of course, if AOB steps in, that we will be able to defend you.
and you're absolutely correct on that, because some people are telling them, oh, well, I don't want to return to work because I have anxiety. I'm getting anxiety. Well, we all have anxiety at this point. Some of us more than others, but it's important to give the specifics as to why, and to make those phone calls. We got to make a lot of phone calls and send a lot of emails now that we have some new school board members coming on board.
So Mr. Castro says he does not have room, and he has already tried to address that he does not have the space for that.
Okay. Let me look into that.
Recommended should be replaced if required. Yes, Ms. Gonzalez. You're welcome, me too. Oops, I skipped one. Please find out if the district has a committee who is brainstorming on having virtual teachers only and face-to-face classroom teachers only. This may help or not those teachers who are willing to volunteer to teach only online or face-to-face versus both at the same time.
That is true. It's
I don't
very
think they have a committee yet. From what I know is that they do have a committee, but I don't think they have one specifically in regards to whether teachers will just be virtual or face to face. It's an awesome idea. There's some people that feel safe and they want to go back, and at least we respect that. But if we had teachers actually in the committee, I think it would be a different story.
So I can tell you personally that I was given a survey as to whether I wanted to be teaching on the computer, even when we came back to face, if I wanted to be on the computer all day, or if I wanted to do a split with, for example, uh, my coworker, for her to be on the computer and me teaching the kids in the classroom. I believe that there is a committee that is discussing that. I do not think that it has teachers on it, but I believe there is a discussion going on already, and they are trying to collect information from teachers as to what it is they prefer. So I don't know if other campuses have received surveys, but I do know that we were asked at my campus, and 100% from our campus wanted to be on the computer, even if there were students in their classroom, and they wanted to stay with their students, not have to split their classes with somebody else. So I think that may be in the works, Ms. Novello. So we'll see. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know that there's teachers on that committee, but I believe there is a committee that is already looking at that. In my friend's room, there is not enough room for 20 to 30 students to be 6 feet apart. In that case, what does she do?
Right now, it's on the documentation, really, because it's not mandated that they have to be the 6 feet apart. The majority of the campuses are trying to do the 6 feet, but it's not mandated, and that's coming from TEA. So it's important that you do. And the reason why we're saying to send that email is because it makes it known to the principal and administration that you do not feel comfortable. You do not feel comfortable or safe in a classroom where you cannot space out your students for 6 feet of distance. And with that, then they have officially been told that you don't feel comfortable and you're worried, and God forbid something happens down the line, they know there's documentation that you had already expressed that concern. Okay.
Exactly.
They might not correct it. They might not do that, but they're going to look into it a whole lot more than not doing anything. So unfortunately, right now, TEA has not mandated that they have to meet the 6 feet. They have not mandated the count either for the class ratio. So that makes it, very difficult because that limits the rights that we have.
Right.
But we try to go other ways around it by sending the emails, putting the
Right.
pressure on there, telling them, hey, I don't feel comfortable because, and you don't have to disclose, right? But you can say whatever the reason is, I have asthma or whatever, or if you don't want to disclose it, you just say, I don't feel comfortable for health reasons being in the classroom, and I have 30 students, and my instructional area is so many feet by so many feet. It's
Right.
just not doable. And there you have all the documentation, and then we can see what can take place.
Now we do
we've had
have, yeah, we do have hope though. We do have hope, and I'm going to say why. If Biden wins, there is hope that requirements and different things may change that will benefit public schools. And I don't know if people know this or not, but his wife is an educator. His wife is a teacher. She is actually one of our members that is associated with our national affiliate. So educators are going to be a priority for him. Educators are the ones that came out nationally. So you better believe that NEA is going to be holding him accountable and going to be looking in and pushing that education be at the forefront and that safety be public education funding and safety of educators is a priority. So that's also why we need a big win, because that may change and the change will trickle down to us at the local level. El Paso's numbers are a threat to the rest of Texas, and with flu season, why can't they just be patient and let us stay safe until we see how bad it gets?
Yes, exactly. El Paso started opening up, and that's what happens.
Yep. Thank you, ladies. Valuable information. You're welcome, Ms. Cordero. That's going to be very elective. That's going to be every elective teacher, art, dance, band, etc. Yes, it is. And you know what, guys? Parents in the state of Texas still have the option to keep their children at home. So one of the questions was, how can the community help? That would be another way to help too. If you can keep your child at home, that may be a way to help, because you would be minimizing exposure not only to your family, but you would also be minimizing exposure to the school that your child attends. Mine will not be going back even when I go back. He's not going back.
So I have another question for David. So David, you have more than 30 right now face to face, or you're looking at for after November 30th? If you can message on that. Because it hadn't been brought to my attention that right now people had over 30 face to face.
Yeah. Our principal hasn't shared that survey with us yet. Yeah. So that may be coming down the line. I know that we were asked at my campus, and so that may be coming down the line. But in summarizing all of this, with all of the concerns with safety and all of that, Ms. Ida, what has AOBE done? I want everybody to know.
In regards to safety, we did file a class action grievance against the district, and we are going to, like I said, we don't back down. I know some people might say, well, my gosh, we have to move on. We have to, get over this. This is how it's going to be. And we understand that. And some people might think that we're overreacting. But worst case scenario, if anything, at the end, we end up having a safer place to work in, then I think we all still win with that. But we did file a class action grievance with the issues that are going on. We're going to see how that goes. I know some of you all have reached out, and we do have specific people on the list with their specific situation. And if you have a specific issue that you're seeing at your workplace that is not safe, be it the no proper PPE or whatever the case might be, please let us know. We need documentation and of actual situations that are going on out there. And that's only going to help to strengthen our case a whole lot more. And we're going to see what can be done and corrected out of there. One of the remedies that we're seeking from there is to let the people that want to work from home to work from home. Let them work remotely. Okay, there's plenty of people that are saying that they're willing to volunteer and work from the workplace. Then let's let those people report to the workplace first. So we have already filed that. So we're in the process of getting documentation for that to just strengthen that case a little bit more.
November 30th is when students are returning, which is after Thanksgiving holiday. Can we ask students to be tested before they return? No, we cannot. We cannot require that students be tested. We cannot ask where anybody has been. There is really no way to prevent people coming onto the campus if they have been exposed. I mean, there's really no way because we're so limited with what we can and can't do. Yes, I would love to keep my sons at home, but I don't have anyone to care for them if we go back to work. Yes, and I'm lucky in that I have my mom, and we don't all have that. That is a luxury for me. If I did not have my mom, I don't know what I would do. But yes, I am lucky and blessed that I have my mom that can watch him while I return to work. But we don't all have that luxury, unfortunately. I'm sorry, Ms. Barbosa. I have just 3 coming in twice a week, but when face-to-face does open up, I could have up to 30.
Okay, David. So I will address that and see how do they plan to have those electives take place safely. So we will be getting information out to you guys. One of the other things that we did want to make sure you guys are aware of is the walkthroughs. There has been apparently at some of the campuses a lot of walkthroughs taking place. And I did have that conversation with Dr. Trevino, and it is only supposed to be 2 walkthroughs per administrator, okay, per day. So some were saying that the administrators were doing 6, 8, some 10. I don't know how they would be doing 10 every day. But they are only required to do, and they can only do 2 per day per administrator. So I did ask, I mean, come on, let's give a little bit of leniency here. Let's work with our teachers that, they're on the verge, the edge, fixing to jump off already, off that ledge. But she said that right now that's what they're going with. We're trying to see what they can do to be a little bit more lenient on the walkthroughs. But what she is saying is the purpose of a walkthrough is to be able to grow from it, that it's not a got you instrument. So if you feel that is what they're doing, we did have a situation where a certain teacher was being targeted and being observed day after day after day. You need to speak up on that. Mm-hmm. You need to let us know, okay? That's the only way that can be corrected. We didn't bring out who it was, but we addressed it enough in a certain way where it was corrected. So there is guidelines for walkthroughs, and walkthroughs can only be done 2 per administrator per day. If they're being very harsh, like you're saying right there, let me know. Get in contact with me. Get me your walkthrough, and let's see what can be done, because we're asking for them to be understanding of what the teachers are going through at this time. My goodness. And then on top of that, we're going to pound a hard walkthrough when they're trying to do everything that they can. And I've always said, you know what? I'd like to see them model a perfect instructional setting remotely. And now the ones that are having to do face-to-face as well. My goodness, especially right now, I think we need to be a little bit more understanding of what's going on.
We need to be flexible. That's a word they throw around all the time.
Yes.
Yes, you risk to bring the virus home to your mom and kids, Ms. Borrego. Tough choice. God bless us all. Yes, it is a tough choice. I myself have issues, and so I'm reporting because I'm going to have to report. But I feel like if I send my son to school because I know what I have for a son, his hands will be in his mouth, rubbing his face, rubbing his eyes. That would be a double exposure for myself and my mom because I do help care for my mom. And so I feel like me alone is better than two exposures. So it is hard. It's a very tough decision, and I've been back and forth, but we have to do what we feel the most comfortable with, unfortunately. Yep, with a pandemic, the up-aboves are giving everyone more, including our principals. Yep.
Yes. Some of these principals, I mean, my goodness, they are doing the best that they can with what they have to work with.
Yes, Mr. Castro. And that's another thing that we are fighting as well. The professional development that is like, we're being bombarded with professional development. The walkthroughs are crazy. Yes, the new SLO, the lesson plans that are have to be more detailed. They have to include more stuff. They have to all these things that they're adding on, and it just goes on and on. I've also gotten a call that there are high school is going to have benchmarks the week before they have their semester exams. So they're going to benchmark and then have semester exams. I don't know how that makes sense for these poor children or for these teachers, that they are going to be stressed and then stressed. Their semester exams should be the priority because that is going to count towards their grade. So we will be addressing that as well.
And no one is addressing the issues with the students. Just like the teachers are having very stressful situations, the same thing is being faced by the students. So that added stress to the teachers can only trickle down to the student. So again, we have to be advocates for them too.
That's right. And the teacher that called was advocating for the students and saying, yes, this is extra paperwork for us. Yes, this is extra. But imagine the stress on them knowing that they're going to test for a week and then have to take their semester exams the week after. Like, that's a lot for a kid to have to deal with.
Right.
On top of everything that they're having to deal with right now.
And then the issues with technology as well. I mean, we don't know. Every household is unique. We don't know. They're having to share the same equipment, or the internet is not to the best. I mean, it's just crazy.
And this is exactly what the teacher expressed to me too, that how was she supposed to be reviewing for the final to make sure her students understood and grasped everything they needed to the week before if they were going to be benchmarking. And then she was told, well, you on the weekend, grade your benchmarks, collect your data, and on Monday, when you come back, on Monday, you can review for their final for the next day.
Wow.
That's too much stress for the kids. The teachers, and that's what I told the teacher. We've been bombarded with things so many times. We work well under pressure, but these kids, they don't need them. That's not fair.
No, and that's what I do like that Jimena spoke up about, the students' point of view. And we need to get more students like that are willing to speak up, because that's what some of this administration at the campus level and district level, they don't realize everything that they set out, how it is impacting the educators, how it's impacting the students. And, this pandemic is not over.
No.
Like somebody said, anxiety is at all-time high. And when we're not helping the situation, it's just not right.
I'm very impressed with the two students that we actually had. The one from Stillman saying, hey, it just didn't make sense. And I knew it just by
Oh,
seeing it for the first time.
Yep.
Or Jimena that said, why would they give me a backpack if everything's online?
yes.
I mean, these are, it makes common sense, but until they mentioned it, we actually saw it as adults. I guess we're so preoccupied on the big picture that we forget the details. So I'm very, very proud of those two young ladies. Very proud.
Absolutely.
They force the kids and teachers on the screen from morning to night, and our principal refuses to let us give them time to go do their work while we log off for a bit. She wants us on all day.
And it's hard on your eyes. I know it's very difficult to be on the computer all day long and all evening. And that's what these people don't think about. At the level, from an administrator at a campus and at the district, they are not in front of that computer. They are not on that computer all day long. It takes a toll on you.
We only get one planning period every other day as English teachers. When is the first board meeting with the new board?
I
We're
heard
waiting for
there's going to be a special called board meeting, so it may be in November, but if not, it's going to be in December.
more than likely they're going to probably do one. They're going to probably call one, but it has not been posted yet. They have to canvass the votes first, and then the new board can call a board meeting. Since they're given, I believe, up until Tuesday, if they're going to have that recount on the race between Marisa Leal and Minerva Peña. So it's probably going to be after that because they're still waiting in case there's some mail-ins that are going to come in. I believe that's the cutoff date to accept if there's any mail-ins. And that race is very close. So it's still not known if Minerva Peña is going to demand that recount or not. So it's probably going to be, I'm thinking, the end of next week when they will call that board meeting. But we will see.
So I'm looking at the Joe Biden and Donald Trump Associated Press map, and it has Georgia at 49.4% and 49.4%.
Oh,
they're neck and neck in Georgia.
Oh my gosh.
And Pennsylvania is at 90% reporting, 49.7% Donald Trump, 49.1% Joe Biden.
Wow.
He may flip those two states too. Craziness. Teachers and students have learned to innovate in such a fast-paced, life-changing. Hats off. Yeah, it's been difficult, but it's been fun, and it has been a very good learning experience because technology is the future, right? And so we're having to learn and accommodate ourselves and mold ourselves to this new. I'm still learning technology. I wish I was better at it, and I often call my 22-year-old son, and I'm sure he's annoyed by me, but that's okay, and ask him for help because it's difficult, you know. Mr. Castro, yes, our eyes are burning.
I purchased these glasses. They're the whatever for the blue light or whatever. It does make a difference, Mr. Castro. So you might want to try that. They do still hurt.
Depending on your computer, though, Ida, you can also make the adjustment in the settings. You can do like take off filters and different things like that. So that's also I mean, it depends on your computer.
We're taking off filters? No.
No, see, my skin still looks beautiful, so it's not that filter that's gone.
Okay, pero December the 8th is a meeting that's scheduled. December the 8th. Unless they call a special call board meeting.
So that was for, who asked that? Miss Belen. Ms. Belen de la Garza, December the 8th is the scheduled board meeting, but there may be one sooner. It just
Correct.
depends on if they call an emergency board meeting. Um, this was a good show, guys. I'm so happy that we have so much engagement from our community and from our members. I'm so happy that we have a fresh start to look forward to with the board. And I'm hopeful that these new incoming board members will be the change that BISD needs. Do you ladies, we're going on 135. So do you have any final thoughts, Miss Ida?
I had some comments that were popping up. Remember I told you how they were not popping up there? But since I am not tech savvy, I lost them on... It kept moving up and it doesn't let me do that anymore. The only thing I see is Linda Estrada was on. She is actually our TSTA state vice president. And her comment was, you need to document the date and time. That's when we were talking about documentation. Let me see. Also, Joanna says, great job, ladies, and thank you for continuing to stand up for what is best for the students and employees of BISD. Always will, and we will continue to do that. We have Mr. David. I don't know why this comment didn't come out over there, or I didn't see it. It popped out over here. It says, hoping Sylvia and the old school board didn't spend all the money. Fine arts teachers want to see the Performing Arts Center made. Very true. Very true.
And I'm very sad, Mr. Castro, that did not happen before my son left high school, because he finished his high school career in theater arts. And I, of course, cried at every show, but it would have been nice to have had it in one of those beautiful buildings.
And there was one more comment from Mr. Carlos Elizondo. He, I lost it, but I know it said something along the lines of "Do not fear." I know. I'm telling you, it says It said something about "Do not fear retaliation," because Sylvia Atkinson is no longer there, and something about. She's in a cage or something. I don't know. Sorry, Mr. Elizondo. But again, we cannot be fearing retaliation. We need to stand up and stand up for what is right. As you can see, Micaela is here. She went through a difficult time, but it has made her a stronger person, and it has made her a different person. So for the better. So we cannot let people retaliate on us and we just sit back and take it. We have to all reach that point when we say, no more. This is it. And, only Micaela knew when that time was going to be. And she did that. And look at her now. She is vice president of AOBE. She has position at the state level. Oh, and congratulations. She did just this past weekend get elected, and she now holds the position at the TSTA advisory board. So, who would have thought she's always been very professional from when I have known her, but she is a huge advocate now for not only public education, but for what is right. She does not feel intimidated. She might be fearful at times, a little bit, and her voice might shake a little bit at times, but she doesn't hold back. And we can help you to get there as well. And she's always giving, willing to help other people and show them what they need to do to get there as well. So we cannot sit back and be okay with being bullied or retaliated on because of what we stood for, because what we said, needed, to be right. What we said, we wanted to support so-and-so, that's your given right to do. And I have one more comment. It says, it's from Maria Magdalena. It says, I had someone today at work tease me about the amount of I'm so sorry, it's hard to read. Retaliation I was going to get because I was so vocal and I did, and I don't something I don't know. So I guess they were giving her they were telling her, it's hard to read, I'm so sorry, because somebody sent me a picture of it. Uh, but that doesn't make it right. Maria, you need to let them know of how you feel, and that you're not going to be fearful
She
of what you stood for. You were
no.
out there. Yes, I admire your dedication to the
Mhm.
campaign. You reviewed and checked your candidates, and you decided who you were going to endorse, who you were
Yep.
going to support, and
Yep.
you went to the camps and you stood by them and you
Yep.
did everything possible.
Yep.
So if somebody is retaliating on you, you please let us know. And I can guarantee you that we're going to have your back 100%. Okay, because that is your right to support whoever it is you feel that is a best fit for BISD. And that's exactly what you did, Maria. So I
That's right.
commend you on your dedication and what you did.
And she doesn't know we're going to
So,
be calling on her.
oh
She's
yeah, she
she's
really,
going to be a big advocate. Miss Lucy,
absolutely.
I have put our application in the chat. If you click on that link, it takes you directly to our application. Thanks to Miss Micaela, our more tech savvy person. You fill out the application and it comes straight to our email, to our office email, where our secretary will process your application. If you are in need of a drop form, simply let us know. Send us a Facebook message through Messenger, and we can email you the application. Yes,
So,
congratulations to Miss Micaela. It's amazing how much and how far she has come in just a couple of years, even with um, the treatment she has received. It has made her very, very strong, and it has not only made her a stronger person, it has made her a stronger advocate. So it's amazing. Congratulations, Miss Mickey. Marta
yeah.
Zarago. Hello, ladies. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. Miss Micaela, do you have any closing thoughts?
You're not alone. You're not alone. Everybody will get to the point where you say enough is enough.
Yep.
But as long as you know you're right, as long as you know you're not doing anything wrong, you will be okay. And you are not alone. You belong, for those that are members, you belong to the largest local association for Brownsville ISD employees. Plus, you belong to the Texas State Teachers Association and the National Education Agency. You belong to three great organizations that stand for public education.
Yep.
It is a long path where you keep being pushed down, but every time you stand up, you will stand up stronger than ever. As long as you know what you're doing is right. There's something that I learned a long time ago. As long as if you do something where you knowingly and willingly do something that's wrong, you will not be able to escape the wrath. Do what's right. Do what's right. Document. Make sure you write everything down. Time, date, who was there, what was said, witnesses, and you will be okay. And if you need anything, again, you can always count on me. You can email me. You can call me. Of course, not during working hours, but I'll be there. I'll be there. We are a team, and we'll stand in solidarity together. Thank you.
Yes, we will. Like Micaela said, guys, knowledge is power. Knowledge is power, and we are here to empower you with knowledge.
Mhm.
Anything you all need, anything, information to help you with, even if the smallest of incidents, please contact us. That's why we're here. Um, Again, congratulations to the newly elected board members. We're hopeful that they are the change that BISD needs. We look forward to working with them. We look forward to open communication. We look forward to accountability. And we look forward to change for the better. Guys, keep an eye on the national election. That's coming, that's getting pretty close too. There may be some more blue states in there with the counts coming in. And have a wonderful night. And don't
If I
forget,
may,
yes.
Whatever comes out of the election at the national level, whatever comes out also of this last election that is going to, if it goes for review, let's be respectful of one another. We have to respect one another and whoever it is that they choose to support. There's no need to be ugly. There's no need to bully and harass people, okay? Because whoever is in power right now is not going to be in power forever. Okay. So, we got to learn to work together. We got to learn to coexist. We need to learn to try to do what is best here at BISD and also for our state and nation. Okay. So please, let's not get ugly and start, making ugly comments to one another for whoever wins. Okay. Whoever it is that does win, it's God's will. But we have our work cut out for us either way from here forward. It's going to be a lot of work. Okay. So it's not going to be an easy ride, no matter who wins, but let's just try to be supportive of one another, guys. We're facing difficult times right now. A lot of people are going through very difficult times. Let's not add to that. Okay.
No,
let's not be one that's going to contribute to somebody else's downfall. Okay.
Yep.
So just my closing thoughts on that.
Yes. Everybody have a wonderful evening and be nice to each other. Pray for each other and support each other. Have a good night.
Good night.
Bye.